What if you could train your brain to learn English, even when you're not studying?
That sounds impossible.
Actually, your brain already learns this way. Think about how you learned your first language.
I didn't study grammar rules as a baby.
Exactly. Your brain learned through massive subconscious exposure. And here's the interesting part. Most English learners completely ignore this system. But when you train your subconscious brain, something amazing happens. Your brain starts recognizing English patterns automatically.
So, this is how people actually start thinking in English instead of translating first.
Right. And today we're going to show you how to train that system. But before we do that, you need to understand why your subconscious brain is so powerful when it comes to learning a language.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Real Life English Talk podcast. I'm Julia, and I'm here with my co-host, Alex.
Hello, everyone.
Today, we're diving into part 2 of our Think in English mini-series.
That's right, Julia. In the last episode, we talked about how to activate your direct thinking mode in English. And in today's episode, we're going to reinforce that idea with a technique called subconscious brain training, which can help you start thinking in English more naturally.
Let's dive in. So, Alex, what did you mean by our subconscious brain is powerful when it comes to learning a language?
Well, your brain actually has two learning systems, the conscious brain and the subconscious brain. The conscious brain is slow, and it focuses on things like grammar rules, analysis, and memorization. But the subconscious brain, on the other hand, works very differently. It learns through patterns, repetition, and exposure.
So instead of thinking about grammar rules, it just absorbs the language?
Yeah, think about music. You may hear a song once and forget it, but after hearing it 10 times, you suddenly know the lyrics without even trying.
Yeah, I always thought that was a pretty useless superpower. Suddenly knowing the lyrics to every random song.
Actually, that's your subconscious brain at work. It's constantly picking up patterns, even when you're not trying. And the interesting thing is that language works in exactly the same way. That's why so many people can understand English really well, but still struggle when it's time to speak. Their brain has already started recognizing the patterns of the language, the sounds, the rhythm, the common phrases, but they haven't trained their brain enough to produce those patterns automatically.
So subconscious training helps build those patterns faster?
Yes, when you train your subconscious brain the right way, you start building those patterns more quickly and more naturally. Speaking becomes less about thinking of rules and more about recalling patterns your brain already knows. But there's one huge mistake that prevents most learners from using subconscious training correctly.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, here's the biggest mistake people make with subconscious training. They think passive listening alone is enough. So they play English in the background while they're doing other things, but they never really focus on it. And while passive listening can help a little, it's not enough to train your brain to actually use the language. Your brain still needs moments of active attention to really absorb the patterns and make them usable in real conversations.
Wait, so passive listening doesn't work?
It works, but only when combined with focused listening. Your brain actually needs two different phases for this process to work. Phase 1, active exposure. Phase 2, subconscious reinforcement.
So I first listen carefully, and later my brain reinforces it in the background.
Exactly. Think of it like planting a seed. When you listen actively and pay attention, you're planting the seed. Then, when you listen again later in a more relaxed way, your subconscious brain is watering that seed over time.
Okay, that makes sense. So what would be the key recommendations we could give our listeners to make sure they're using subconscious training effectively?
Yeah, the good news is that the system can actually be very simple.
Nice.
First, listen to a short English audio with focus. Pay attention to the meaning and sentences. Then later in the day, play the same audio again, but this time while you're doing something else. Maybe you're walking, cooking, or cleaning. Because you've already listened to it once with focus, your brain already recognizes the context. And when you hear it again, your subconscious brain begins to reinforce those patterns automatically.
So repetition is the key?
Totally. Your brain loves repeated patterns.
So listening to the same material multiple times can actually be more powerful than constantly changing content.
Yes. But there's another key element that makes subconscious training much more effective, and it's something many polyglots often emphasize when they talk about this technique. Your subconscious brain learns best when it understands most of the message. This is called comprehensible input. When the message is clear, your brain can start recognizing patterns, connecting meaning to sound, and gradually absorbing the language in a natural way.
So if the English is too difficult for my level of understanding, my brain can't absorb it?
Exactly. Your brain needs about 70 to 90% understanding to learn effectively. If the content is too hard, your brain stops recognizing patterns.
That explains why watching complicated movies sometimes feels useless.
Yeah, try to choose content slightly above your level, not far above it. This is where subconscious training works best.
Listeners, try this today. Choose one of our English podcast episodes. You can find the link to the full list in the description of this video. Or pick any English video you like. Then, watch or listen to it 3 times. The first time, focus on understanding the overall message or story. The second time, start paying attention to useful phrases and expressions you notice. The third time, play the same audio again, but this time, listen more casually while you're doing something else.
Yes, that way the brain processes the same material multiple times.
Exactly. And that repetition is what helps build automatic thinking in English.
You know, there's actually another powerful moment for subconscious training, right before sleep.
Really? Why before sleep?
Because your brain consolidates memories while you are sleeping. Listening to simple English before bed can reinforce patterns your brain will continue processing overnight.
So my brain is literally studying while I sleep?
In a way, yes. But remember, this works best after you've already heard the material earlier. You don't need hours of studying. Even 15 to 30 minutes a day can make a huge difference. The key is consistent exposure. Your brain slowly builds an internal English pattern library. And once that happens, thinking in English becomes automatic. So remember the 3 keys to subconscious training: active listening first, repeated exposure, and content you mostly understand.
And this is what helps the brain recognize English automatically?
Exactly. And the good news is that this channel already has several videos designed specifically for subconscious English training. So you can start practicing right away, whether it's with Calm English or with our podcast episodes.
So people can literally start training their brain today?
That's right. And in the next video, we'll show you how to combine subconscious training with speaking practice so your brain starts producing English more naturally and automatically. If you want to start thinking in English, make sure to subscribe and keep training your brain with us.
Thank you everyone for joining us today.
Have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world.
Bye!
Bye-bye.